I got to ask a question. Have you ever thought about going?
Going where?
You know, going there.
Oh, that kind of going.
It's something we should talk about and let our wishes be known. Do you want to be buried or cremated? That's one of the questions there should be an answer to. Whichever you decide to do, you should take a look at the Brooklawn Funeral Home. Welcome to the Giuliano Sagarino Brooklawn Funeral Home, also the site of Abbey Cremation Service here in Rocky Hill. I'd like you to meet the owner, Luke DiMaria.
It's been in my family since 1921 in downtown Hartford. I moved the company out here back in 1994. I've been a licensed funeral director for 35 years.
Decades of serving the local community and beyond through both the funeral home and Abbey Cremation Service.
I thought it was kind of a unique situation about 30 years ago to develop a direct cremation at a minimal cost for families. So we don't just service a community like Rocky Hill, we do the entire state of Connecticut. So we go all over.
I see the billboards everywhere.
Sure.
And I'm like, how does this work?
The $9.95. So basically, I came up with a strategy for $9.95. We'll transfer your loved one, whether it be a home, convalescent home, or hospital, to our facility. By state law, we have to hold them in refrigeration for 48 hours. During that time period, we'll meet with the family to go over arranging of the cremation and funeral issues.
Choosing cremation is a lot more popular than it used to be.
In the state of Connecticut last year, the estimate was 28,000 deaths, 14,000 were cremation, so it's almost 50% now.
Wow, that's pretty.
Where when I started 35 years ago, it was 80-20 burials to cremation.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So cremation is really coming.
And it continues to rise, yeah.
And cremation, is it the more of the way to go these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's trending that way for three basic reasons. Obviously, finance cost is a big concern for everyone, especially in today's society. Secondly, religious beliefs. Years ago, Catholics could not cremate. Back in the early 80s, the Archdiocese in the Vatican in Italy allowed people to start to be cremated. And finally, geographics. People live all over the country now. With cremation, you really there's three options. There's the direct cremation that we spoke of.
Not a lot of fanfare here. You'll pick up the ashes at the funeral home and do what you'd like with them, or do what the deceased has requested. Maybe putting them into one of these keepsakes, which we're going to get to in just a minute.
Then there's two other types of cremation. There's a cremation, what we call a full service, where you can have a embalming and a rental casket and calling hours, more like a traditional funeral. You can have a church service, then the cremation. Or you can do what we call a celebration of life, where we do the cremation and then we have the urn or the keepsakes here, like a calling hours, but it's what we call a celebration of life because the person in body is not here. They're just here in cremate.
But the cremate, yeah, I've been to several services where the body's not there anymore. They've been cremated and they have the cremains in the front of the room.
Yep, some they have it in front of the room, some will have a picture or just some flowers. It's all personal preference.
How you keep the ashes is up to you, but Luke and his daughter Tiana and son Luke Jr., who also run the business, have several suggestions. All right, so here we are, and this is the room. Hello, nice to see you. It's Tiana? Yes. Pleasure, and Luke Jr., nice to meet you. So this is the room where people tend to make a lot of the choices.
Right, this is when it comes to the merchandise, some of the different options they have after the cremation is done. My daughter's holding something very unique. It's called the keepsake. It's a rose that the actual tip comes off. We can put ashes right inside it, Scotty, and someone could take that to work and keep it on their desk.
Looking for something a little more traditional? There are several urns to choose from. Some are made right here in Connecticut.
I have a local artist that does the blown glass for us for keepsakes. They come in some different colored glasses that he does. So we're proud to say that we have something that's actually made here in Connecticut.
Handcrafted right here in Hartford.
Another option for keepsakes is jewelry. This is becoming more and more popular. Basically, they have different types of, it starts with a little area where you can put the cremains inside, and then it's soldered closed, so you have a finished product there of the jewelry. This is one option. For men, they have more of the little bit more masculine looking cross, little cap. They put the ashes in and they solder it closed.
For the sports fan,
We have the New York Yankees. We're Yankee fans here, but they also have the Boston Red Sox, which is popular in our area, and then any of the other teams throughout the country. We can provide any of those. It's an actual real baseball on the top. You put the loved one's name on the little plaque. They're approved by Major League Baseball.
Here's something that's eco-friendly.
To stay green friendly, they have what's called the Ecosphere. This is something fairly new. It's kind of a clay substance. The ashes go in. They give you instructions. You're supposed to plant this just below the grass line with a seedling, and in time the cremains will adhere to the roots and grow up into the tree.
And if you want to do a sea burial, they've got something for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a floater?
Yep, that's the bio-scattering urn. When people are scattering ashes in the ocean,
yep.
You have what's called blowback.
Yep.
There's always a couple knots of, they call it knots of wind, where the ashes can end up on you on the boat or the pier.
The Big Lebowski.
Yep. So they could drop that in the water, and the whole thing dissolves, and your loved one ends up in the water, not in your on your boat.
And now, I do a lot of stories, I gotta be honest with you. I left there with 3 new friends, Luke, Tiana, and Luke Sr. They are just some of the nicest people you are ever gonna meet, and they live right on the premises, so they can always be reached, which I think is terrific as well.
Yeah, great to have a local family. And you know, it's something we all have to talk about.
We're talking about it, we're talking about it.
Got a lot of information now.
Absolutely.
All right, you'll find more information for you on the Brooklawn Funeral Home's website. The address is brooklawnfuneralhome.com.
All right, the movie